One love, God bless. Fire Nelson here, and I'm here to talk to you about how you can tell if you're starting to awaken. So, a lot of people do a lot of self work and self improvement work and a lot of faith building and spiritual work. But how do we actually know if we're starting to awake? If we're starting to be more enlightened of a being, be more of a conscious being? Well, it's broken down into many type of formats, many types of signs and awarenesses, and many types of ways and structures. I'm out here in beautiful nature and really enjoying this, really just letting it sink in, breathing in the fresh air. And that's one of the ways that you can really tell when you're starting to awaken. Start to you start to see the beauty in the simple things. You start to be able to appreciate nature, be able to appreciate the textures of these trees, the unique patterns of each and every tree, the unique growth, the unique styles, the unique type of all different things. You just appreciate the little things, appreciate the differences instead of thinking of differences as inconveniences. And you take that throughout all of your life. The more you awaken, the more you realize that life is way more happy and peaceful when you symbolize it. We tend to complicate things all the time and try to make things seem to be way more harder to obtain than it's actually possible. The fact that there's been 600 people on the in space, but only 400 people have been around the world, tells you our mindset alone. We're so worried about trying to get to this big picture, but we're not even embracing the beauty around us. So you'll start to realize when you start to awaken that you appreciate the beauty around us. You're not so much looking far off. You're not looking so much at this huge picture, this huge, thing to obtain that's out of this world. We're not thinking of that as success anymore. We're thinking of success as appreciating the little things, appreciating a thank you, appreciating a forgiveness, appreciating the smell of the fresh air, appreciating the grass and the sand underneath your feet, appreciating just soft clothes. It's not about the designer anymore. This is how you're gonna feel when you start to awaken. And sometimes it's a slower process for others, and sometimes it's a quick process. But whatever the process is, be patient with yourself and be accepting, surrender to what is going on, because it's a blessing at the end of the day. So that's a definite way to tell that you're starting to awaken, is that you start appreciating the little things and start enjoying nature and the birds flying by and things like this, and can see the significance of each and every creature and plant and all these things. So another way to realize, oh wow, I'm really awakening, is you start seeing a lot of synchronicity in the ways that you talk, in the ways that people talk to you about something you were just talking about, in the ways that you're looking at the clock and it's always 11:11, 3:33, 4:44, all these spiritual numbers. These are little winks from God, winks from the Most High, from Jah, telling you that whatever you're saying right now, maybe pay attention to it. Whatever you're thinking right now, maybe pay attention to that, and also telling you that Jah sees you, the Most High sees you, it sees your work, and it's telling you, I'm with you in this journey, I'm with you in this process. So you start seeing a lot of synchronicity in your life, and you start seeing these angel numbers pop up all the time. Many awakened individuals will tell you that they experience the same thing, especially with the angel numbers. But the synchronicity is a thing that really gets you and makes you just fall in love with the whole process. The fact that you may watch something and then all of a sudden someone brings up that exact same thing in a conversation later, it's a really crazy experience. Or you say something and that person says, I was literally just thinking. That happens to me all the time. It's a crazy experience, and it's a beauty to know that you're so in touch with the universe, in touch with your surroundings and environment, that you're able to pick up on vibrations without it even being said, to that extent that you're saying what people are thinking sometimes. So this is a thing that's going to happen when you start to awaken, when you start doing this work, when you start doing your meditation, your prayers, your reading, your spiritual reading, your, you know, your yoga, your journaling. When you start getting more in touch with your inner self, your divine self, lots of these things are going to happen to show you that, hey, you are awakening, and the illusion is breaking down. The illusion is not anymore just randomness here, there, that, and this and that anymore. It's everything is aligning. Even when you don't think there's something that's aligning, it's actually meant to be in your path for a reason. And regardless if it's seen as you as negative or positive, it's a lesson and it's a blessing, because anything that comes to our life, even if it's negative, is helping us grow into a more of a person that we're supposed to become. It's pushing us to be the person that God wants us to be, that the Most High and the Divine Source is trying to guide us to be. Nobody is trying to guide us to be some evil, hurt, unforgiving, grudgeful, greedy. Just no one's trying to push us to be those types of people. The Most High, the Divine, the universe, the beauty of nature, the beauty of the world, that's not society, but the beauty of the actual world, outside of America especially, is trying to push you into a love state, into a serenity state, a state of full abundance, of inner wealth, not so much outer wealth. That will come too, but build that inner wealth, that inner respect, that inner humbleness and oneness. So when we start to awaken, we start realizing all these things, all these little pushes from the divine to push us more into growing, to push us to be more of that person that we're trying to be. So this is a big sign when it comes to knowing that you're awakening or that you've awoken. Another sign is that when tests do come in your life, when trials and tribulations do come in your life, you can tell you handle them differently now. You can tell you take a time to breathe and you take a second for peace to handle it differently now. So when these situations come, instead of handling them like you did before and being more reacting, you're more of a responding. You're more thinking about it, not rushing into it. And if it does make you feel a certain way, like hurt or anger or frustration, then you're really meditating on that, not actually sitting down and meditating on it, but taking a few minutes, maybe stepping away from the conversation even, and thinking, why am I feeling these emotions from that? Am I not fully in knowledge of this topic? Am I not fully aware of the love and the divine wisdom that I have and guidance that I have? Is this person actually trying to hurt me, or what are they trying to tell me? You'll be able to take a break and kind of make these decisions more often as you go along in your awakening journey, instead of just reacting and all of a sudden you're in a fight or an argument, or all of a sudden you and your coworker have issues, or you and your friends have issues. Life isn't that serious. This is a big thing to remember. Life isn't serious. It isn't that serious at all. We all live, we all die, and then there's a big middle part for us to do the best that we can. That's all, And a lot of people out here are just hurt people that have never even grown up to a full, adult. They don't know themselves spiritually, mentally, physically. That's why so many people out here are beasts, limping around. They don't even know themselves physically. They don't even know what their body wants. So if you don't know what your body even wants, how are you going to know what your mind really wants, and your spirit really wants? If your body is breaking down and working extra overtime to break down all these toxins and, pesticides and meat and fat and mucus, if your body's working overtime and not even getting the right stuff it needs, then why would you think that these people's minds are getting the right stuff that they need. These people's spirit are getting the right stuff that they need. So you start when you start to see when you're awakening that you don't hold people so accountable to their words. This is just how they're feeling. They don't know the divine truth that you know. They don't know the divine wisdom that you have learned in your journey, in your path. The reason why you may be acting a certain way is because hopefully that you're trying to do something out of love. And if it's not out of love, then you should be getting the karma that you're getting. You know, push hate and you're going to get hate back, and arguments and gossip and lies and, you know, all these problems. So if we know that we're always in a state of love and pushing love as much as we can in a non-extra, just an extra way. You don't have to go overboard with it, but just be a peaceful person, be a serene person. So if we're always pushing this vibration, when someone comes at us with a lower vibration of anger, of hate, of judgment, we don't take it so personally, and we look at them and what they are feeling. Why did they call us stupid? Why did they say this was annoying? Why did they say, what's wrong with you? You know? Because this is stuff and trauma that they are dealing with, that you have reminded them of, and even just a little sprinkle, or they think that they're not as good as you are, or they think that you're annoying because you're always at peace. Whatever the problem is with that person, it's that person's problem. And they have a lot of other problems that they're going to deal with throughout the day that is going to make them forget that they even said those things to you. So why should you remember them? Why should you hold them? These people live 9 times out of 10 a miserable life. If you're someone who is just letting out misery on other people, whether it's small or big, then 9 times out of 10 those people have that same karma brought back to them in different ways. So we have to take these people's words for a grain of salt and take the wisdom and lessons that we learned from the situations. The times to practice patience, the time to practice unconditional love, the time to practice forgiveness. This is the best times. And when you start realizing this and stop thinking of these situations as times to react and get back and say your 2 words and 2 cents, when you start thinking of these situations as that, you start to realize, oh, I'm really becoming an awakened being right now. I am not letting anybody affect my mental clarity, my mental high vibrations that I'm pushing. Maybe I won't talk to this person as much or at all, but I am at harmony. I have a unity within me with a divine source, and I'm not really worried about what they say. I'm not. So this is something that you start to cultivate when you start to become awakened. Another thing that you start to realize when you become awakened is you love learning. And not just all knowledge, of course, all knowledge is good knowledge, but you love learning, especially about self, about healing aspects, about what you eat, about how much sleep you need, about what to read, about what to, do in the mornings. Best ways to think, best ways to succeed, best ways to get wealthy and rich. You should like to learn about all these things, and that is great. You should be learning about how to get wealthy and rich. You should be learning about how to create your own garden. You should be learning about how to fix your own roof and these things and whatever else you want to learn about. Animals, plants, foods. The list goes on. Trees, nature. Learn about what you want to learn about. Stop filling your time with this social media drama and reality TV and just comedies and this and that. When you start to awaken, you realize that this is a waste of time. There's so much time to be spent learning or doing stuff around the home, or doing some reading, just, learning, doing reading, chores, doing your, working toward your dreams, doing arts and crafts, all these things you should be doing daily if possible, especially working towards your dreams. You don't really have time to sit around and watch TV like you used to, you know? When you become a more awakened being, you realize 24 hours is a long time to waste. We don't really have as much of the 24 hours as we would prefer, but we have plenty of it. We can't be dissatisfied with the amount of hours we have. We have to use them and utilize them. We can't be sitting around crying about we don't have enough time when we do have at least 5 to 6 hours, most of us, of just free time, you know? Here and there, yeah, you got to take a shower, cut the shower down to 5 minutes, you know? Yeah, you got to feed the dogs, that's what, 1 minute. Yeah, you got to do this and that, maybe. But all these things could be done in the span of an hour, and then you, what, have, 4 or 5 hours left. Sorry, these kids just came in the woods. I don't know where their parents at. Hopefully they awakened. Ah. But yes, it's beautiful when you start filling your time with stuff that isn't drama and isn't nonsense, and you start to appreciate learning and appreciate the small things like cleaning and stuff like this. But that search for knowledge that you're going to get from being awakened, that thirst for knowledge, is going to take you further and further and further. And it's going to take you to a place of knowing thyself more and more. And of course, it's going to take you down a couple rabbit holes that confuse you very much. But that's when you go into meditation and you ask the Most High what is true, or what is calling to your heart. You need to start trusting your gut, because if you're becoming awakened, then that means your gut is awakening, and your gut's going to tell you a lot about the situations and the environment you're in as well. So knowledge, you're going to have a thirst for knowledge, and you should spend most of that time reading. It's great you're watching YouTubes. I appreciate you watching my YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe and like if you're still watching. But you want to be reading, because it really exercises not only the mind, but it gets you into a meditation. It gets you into its own type of meditation, where that's all you're focused on. It's the reading you're doing and the story that you're getting, and the wisdom that you're getting. So I advise you do reading. Definitely do reading. But yes, the thirst for knowledge. Sorry, there's a lot going on. There's some ants. But it's all love. It's all nature. I'm one with nature. I surrender to it. And this is what you're going to find when you become awakened, is that you surrender. You don't resist too much in your life at all, because you realize resistance only causes what? Friction, So we don't want to resist. If we see things and we can change them, we change them. But if not, then we just let it go with the flow and realize it's temporary. I'm only going to be sitting here temporary. If the ants want to come up to where I'm at right now, they can come where I'm at. I'm not going to harm them, and they most likely aren't going to harm me. And if they do, it'll be very minuscule. But you have to enjoy yourself and stop trying to change everything and control everything. We surrender when we become more awakened. We are surrenderers. We are surrenderers. That's how we operate when we become more awakened. Is we don't really want to cause too much friction. If you want to do it your way, we could do it your way. If it doesn't work out, I won't even say I told you so. But we don't always have to be in control. We don't always have to be right. Things can be okay, and us not be in control, And that's something that was really hard for me to realize, and I still struggle with it here and there, but it's part of the path. It's part of the journey to surrender. This is part of the awakening. This is part of building that spirit and building that unity and that trust with the Most High, the Divine, that we are truly united and everything is happening for us. Nothing is against us. So you start to surrender. This is how you know you're becoming awakened. And I'm gonna give you last more thing before I go ahead and enjoy the rest of this nature before I head home. And the last thing that I feel you start to do when you start to awaken into a true being, which is a true being, is a being of light. This is what we are all born of. We're born of light and water. This is us. We're water and light beings. So once you start shining your light from within and start becoming an awakened being that you are, you start to love yourself. You start to love the person you see in the mirror. You start to love going past mirrors. You start to really embrace things that you might have thought were flaws. You start to even see, especially if you're changing your diet, you'll start to see that your skin glows more, especially in nature, that your skin is causing less issues, that you have less rashes, and you're getting less bug bites, you're getting less this and that. All these things that you used to get, all these problems that you used to have, you stop getting them. Not completely sometimes, but you stop getting them. And that's because you're starting to love yourself and appreciate yourself. And though that energy that you're putting to yourself, that love, is energizing your cells to do the jobs you need to do, to clear out and clean your system and to make you a healed person. Because our body is constantly fighting off diseases, bacteria, infections, all different types of things. And when we are in an angry and stressful state all the time and overworked and over-dramaed, our body cannot do what it's supposed to do. So when we're loving ourselves, we are healing ourselves. When we are appreciating ourselves for everything that we are, for everything that we have, no matter how short, how tall, no matter how big, how small, if we know that we're living a healing life and doing what we need to do to heal ourselves, then we will start loving ourselves because we know we are doing the best that we can and we are living the best that we can. And the rest of our life will show. The rest of our life will unfold. The synchronicities, the wisdom, all these things will start to combine into a beautiful ball within you that is just serenity, that is just a pure bliss and joy, because you've built all these things together and it's making you more and more aware of your surroundings, not getting so bogged down in the hecticness as many could. There's trains passing, kids coming, all different types of things that we have to deal with in society. This is a metaphor for that. Many things come into our life that we didn't ask for. But when we just surrender and let it go and flow with ease, before we know it, it's over. Before we know it, it's past. And when we love ourselves and hold that faith and hold that trust and that love within, then things are much easier during those times of trials and tribulations, or times of people putting their frustrations and angers out on you, because you're not the problem. All you need to focus on is keep on growing every single day. Be better than you every single day. Not the next person, not this person, not that person. Be better than you every single day. And you will accomplish all you will ever dream and more of accomplishing. So, one love, God bless. If you haven't, please subscribe, like, comment, share. I really appreciate everybody that's been subscribing and doing all these other things. I really appreciate the love. Hope y'all have a blessed day on your journey. Stay awake, stay aware. You got this.